In the small, isolated village of Eldershade, nestled at the edge of the ancient Everwood Forest, legends abounded of the mysterious and dangerous creatures that inhabited the dense woods. Among these tales, one was particularly feared: the story of Nivara, a malevolent forest sprite known to punish those who ventured too deep into her domain. Despite the warnings, Eldershade thrived on the resources the forest provided. Over time, as the older generations passed, the tales of Nivara began to fade into mere superstitions. The villagers became bolder, venturing further into the forest, believing the sprite to be nothing more than a myth. One crisp autumn evening, 4 teenagers, Eleanor, Marcus, Finn, and Lila, decided to test their courage and explore the heart of Everwood. They were eager to prove that the stories were just old wives' tales, and the thrill of adventure called to them. Armed with camping gear and a sense of invincibility, they set out into the forest, laughter and excitement filling the air. The first day of their journey was uneventful. They set up camp in a clearing, the trees forming a protective circle around them. As night fell, they sat around a crackling fire, sharing ghost stories and marveling at the beauty of the starlit sky. The forest, usually alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, was unnervingly silent. As they settled into their tents, a strange unease settled over them, but they dismissed it as nerves. In the dead of night, Eleanor was the first to awaken. She heard a faint, melodic whispering, like a lullaby carried on the wind. Curiosity getting the better of her, she slipped out of her tent and followed the sound into the woods. The further she ventured, the more enchanting the song became, drawing her deeper into the forest. Suddenly, the melodic whispers stopped, and an eerie silence enveloped her. She turned to head back, but realized she was lost. Panic began to set in as she frantically searched for any familiar landmark. Just as she was about to give up, a soft, glowing light appeared between the trees. Hopeful, she approached, only to find a beautiful sprite hovering in the air. Nivara's delicate wings shimmered in the moonlight, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Eleanor's awe quickly turned to terror as Nivara's expression shifted from serene to sinister. Eleanor tried to run, but her legs felt heavy, as if the earth itself were holding her in place. Nivara floated closer, her voice now a cold whisper. "You have trespassed where you do not belong." Back at the campsite, Marcus, Finn, and Lila awoke to find Eleanor missing. They called her name, their voices echoing through the trees, but there was no response. Fearful and worried, they grabbed flashlights and set out to search for her. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they found themselves surrounded by an oppressive darkness. The trees seemed to close in on them, and the air grew thick with an unexplainable dread. Suddenly, they stumbled upon Eleanor's lifeless body, her face frozen in a mask of terror. Before they could react, Nivara appeared, her eyes burning with anger. "You were warned," she hissed. "The forest is mine to protect." Panic overtook them as they realized the legends were true. Marcus tried to reason with the sprite, but Nivara's wrath was unstoppable. One by one, they fell to her enchantments, their screams swallowed by the forest. By morning, the villagers of Eldershade found the remains of the teenagers, their bodies eerily untouched, but their faces marked with sheer terror. The elders shook their heads, sorrowful, yet resigned. The Legend of Nivara was no mere story. It was a warning, and now it had claimed another generation. The forest remained silent, its secrets guarded by the vengeful sprite. The villagers, once bold, now dared not venture too deep into the Everwood. The tale of Nivara was passed down once more, a cautionary tale to remind them of the ancient power that dwelled within the trees, waiting for the next to trespass into her dark domain.